Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of the City Commission on November 8th, 2025.
December.
At this time, we do not have any recognition. If everyone could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. And tonight's invocation will be conducted by Pastor Walters.
Oh, Father in heaven, we thank you so much for being present. Lord, we ask for your guidance and direction in everything that's done here. Father, we also ask for calm, cool attitudes, Lord, for all concerned, that everything is fair and done right according to your sight. We pray these things in Jesus' glorious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. Can we have roll call, please?
Swedish?
Yes.
Bianski?
Yeah.
Money?
Yeah.
Present.
Present.
And George? Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion on the presented agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will take comments for the public. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and approach the podium and state your name for the record. Okay, seeing no one approach the podium. Move on to the consent agenda. At this time, I will take a motion on the presented agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
Support.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, was that you that supported me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We have no scheduled matters from the floor. At this time, we will take reports from department committees and boards. At this time, we'll start with the Buchanan Tree Friends.
Wow. Barely got our breath going here. This is quite quick. Thank you. We have a PowerPoint presentation. Can they see it?
They
Yeah,
have,
right.
they have.
Okay.
That's you got cool effects, you know. make that up.
Every slide.
There are some animations, but they're not cool.
For the crowd.
So first of all, I want to just open up by saying thank you to you, the commissioners, for hearing this. And I want to extend some gratitude to my fellow tree friends, some of whom are here. We have Richard and Sherry Martin, Elaine Rowland. Some of the others, I know some are coming later. Also, the tree friends who came before us that have been instrumental in getting us to this point, specifically Annie Tuitt, who was really helpful in getting a lot of the early grants. But having Caroline from Fernwood and Steve Bornell from Fernwood, Charlie Serene, who helped us with a lot of early watering and encouraged the purchase of the watering tank. People like TJ Sater, who brought the knowledge of high wire work and working with utilities. I stand on the shoulders of people who have done great work for trees in this town. And then a general thank you to the citizens of this town who value trees, because we recognize that trees are not just something that drop leaves in the fall. They are living entities among us that improve our environment, that improve the quality of life, that improve property values, that provide incalculable amount of environmental benefits. And people do recognize that. And we are so grateful to the citizens of Buchanan. And they come out and they volunteer with us, and we need more of that volunteer work. So I just wanted to open up with that gratitude. Okay, so first slide, please. First of all, I'm Brian Murphy. I'm the chair of the Buchanan Tree Friends. I want to introduce a man who's becoming my friend, Lee Mueller from Davie Resource Group, certified arborist, who's going to tell you a little bit about himself.
My name's Lee Mueller. I happen to live in Grand Rapids. I work with communities all over Michigan on tree issues. I like to tell folks I know a lot about trees and little about anything else. So I had the good fortune of working with Brian, the Buchanan Tree Friends, and other folks at the city to work through this planning effort.
Okay, next slide. So we like to start by reminding you of our mission. It's to grow a thriving environment in Buchanan through advocacy, conservation, and education. And we say that's ACE, advocacy, conservation, education, and that's gonna come up. Next slide. So brief history of Buchanan's urban forestry efforts. Brief history. First, we've been a Tree City USA since 1990. That's a great accomplishment. Next, the Tree Friends were reestablished. I was told there had been a Tree Friends group prior to us, but it was reestablished in 2017. Also in 2017, we participated in an urban tree canopy assessment with 5 other cities in the St. Joe River Valley. It was through Relief Michigan, and Relief exists to help the drainage into the Great Lakes. Relief is the Michigan entity that does that. And so they analyzed the tree canopies in these 5 or 6 towns, and we were one of those. Since 2017, nearly 300 trees have been planted in Buchanan. Now, before we move on, let's do this. So 2022, we had a street tree inventory completed. We had a grant for that street tree inventory. And that inventory was a significant moment in Buchanan's urban forestry work because it gave us a lot of data. It didn't, inventory every tree in town, street trees. We had a lot of trees in the cemetery and parks, schools, private property are where most of our trees are. So the tree canopy, at least it was a start. In 2022, we passed a resolution that we presented to you, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to read a piece of it because it reviewed, the resolution reviewed a lot of the urban forestry activity that had happened. And then we said that the work that is identified through the tree inventory was greater than anything that we could account, that we as Tree Friends could manage. There were, Lee's gonna talk in a second about all the things we found out, but there was so much work to be done that we knew that we couldn't do it, but that, and that it should get done in over some period of time, that the city needs a plan. And so this resolution said, it encouraged you, the commission, to encourage the city manager to undertake a tree plan. Fortunately, there was some funding available through the Inflation Reduction Act that didn't require a match. So we were able to apply for a number of things, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But the city manager at the time, Ben Eldridge, signed that grant. Then Tim came on board, and now Tony's here. So that resolution comes to conclusion today because we encouraged you to ask the city manager to oversee the creation of a plan. Now we have that plan. Next. And this, through the again, there was no match required from this grant because Buchanan was designated as a disadvantaged community. So we didn't, most of our DNR grants require a match from the city. You're on.
I've had the good fortune of working with you guys back with Annie on that 2017 urban tree canopy assessment. Our firm worked with you guys on that tree inventory as well. So I have a little bit of a history working with Buchanan on a number of these issues. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of the data that we have to date and some of the information that we used to be a foundation for the urban forest plan. The first thing was the urban tree canopy assessment, which was done in 2017. This is essentially if you took a helicopter over the city of Buchanan and looked down, you would see trees, you would see grass, you would see pavement. So an urban tree canopy assessment attempts to classify that land cover. And so from that urban tree canopy assessment, we found that there was 36% tree canopy across the entire city of Buchanan. When I work with cities like yours, one of the things I key in on is how much tree canopy there is compared to how many buildings and pavement, which we call impervious surfaces. Those impervious surfaces, when the rain hits them, they all run off. That can create flashiness in water systems, that can have water quality concerns. It can also mean that you have to do a whole lot more work to manage stormwater in your community, right? And so one of the things I like to see is that there's tree canopy in balance with impervious surfaces, because that means you have a lot of tree cover to help capture some of that stormwater, reduce how much of that you really have to manage. And so Buchanan has 36% tree canopy with 26% impervious surfaces. You have more tree canopy than you do impervious surface. That's great. I can't say that's true of every community, so that's actually nice to have that much tree canopy capturing some of that stormwater and reducing how quickly that ends up in the rivers or your stormwater system. The other thing we did as part of this project, we worked with 6 communities in the St. Joe River Basin, is we created a planting prioritization map, which you see here. And that basically looked at where there's possible places trees could be planted in your community, and then ranked those based on if a tree were planted there, that it would relatively do more work than a tree in another location in terms of stormwater. So again, we just tried to prioritize where you could plant trees that they would do the most good for stormwater management. Next slide, please. Then in 2022, we were asked to come back and do a tree inventory. We had arborists walking every street in the city, looking at all of your trees. They got the species, the diameter, they located the tree, and then they assessed those trees for maintenance needs and prioritization. So on this table, you can actually see high, low, moderate. There's also another category called extreme. We didn't find any of those, so it's not in here. But that's essentially what the risk level is associated with that tree, and then what maintenance might be needed to manage the risk. So we looked at 1,700 trees across the city of Buchanan, all along the street, and we identified some that should be prioritized for removal and some for pruning. And these are data that I pulled from your existing inventory when we started analyzing the plan. So there's work to be done. Basically, if you want to manage trees so that they can continue to grow and thrive and reduce the potential for blocking the street or throwing power out, these are the priorities we identified, and that's all in the city's existing inventory database. Next slide, please. So why might a city need an urban forest plan? Well, arguably, trees are the only infrastructure that actually increase in value over time. A large, healthy tree is worth more than a small, recently planted tree. And like any asset, it requires maintenance if you want that tree to actually grow and thrive and continue to provide all the great things that trees do for us. Lacking maintenance and care, trees can become liabilities. They can fall, they can collapse, all sorts of things can happen. So plan allows you to use the limited resources you have available, and if you're like any other community I work with, resources are limited. And so you have to figure out how to prioritize those limited resources to get the best bang for your buck. So an urban forest plan is really a tool to help us think about what do you want to achieve, what do you have to get there, and then how can you use your limited resources and prioritize them effectively to be intentional about how you manage trees in your community. So this plan is all just about trying to come up with ways that you can be intentional to ensure that trees are a real asset in your community. Next slide.
Great, I think that's a great point, is intentionality. It's a plan gives you an instrument to help you be intentional about your work. We do a lot of urban forestry in our town. We plant, we prune, we do other, we take care of things when they fall down. But this plan calls for us to be more intentional. So the DNR grant, there were 4 priorities, and we've used that 4,000 to plant a lot of trees. We used the removals, and the city actually matched that, I think 3 to 1. I think the city put in 15 grand because to take care of a lot of the ones that were identified so it was great work. Deb and Tony, and they did it over a couple fiscal years. Were able to find some money to do that. It was a great start. Really good example of how it works. Training and tree keeper inventory. We have some money left for that, and Lee and I talked about a plan over dinner to make sure that gets done in the next few months. We'd like to see more city employees get trained on it as opposed to volunteers. That training will help advance the plan because the inventory is part of a key tool for us in our urban forestry work. And then there was $4,500 for planning, and that's what is paying for the work that you're seeing tonight. Again, none of this required a match. We get to the next slide, please. This is, I think this was yours, but.
Yeah, I first want to say that the Buchanan Tree Friends, with some support from the city, did most of the work in developing this plan. It is the city's plan. It is the Buchanan Tree Friends work that helped create this. I was mainly, sort of an independent expert to help them think through the process, to help them figure out what should be in it, review their work, add some very specific elements related to forestry. So you guys were given the full plan. It consists of the urban forest plan with the mission, vision, the goals. We talk a little bit about the benefit of trees, and then we get into a bit more of an action plan. So these are things that the city should be thinking about on a regular basis, whether that's annual or maybe more programmatic every several years. And it's a way that the city can sort of lean on to understand a little bit more how to continue to manage the urban forest to get the biggest bang for the buck. And then some members of Buchanan Tree Friends actually created a companion document, which is included in the appendices as well, which is a bit more of a playbook, I think is what it's called. You know, just tries to take everything in the plan, boil it down into a very simple format and say, like, each year, this is what we need to think about, and here's the programmatic aspects associated with that. So the plan is designed to be useful. It's not designed to really sit on a shelf. We've written some of these that they're hundreds of pages long. We've written some that are 6 pages long. This was something that really came out of Buchanan Tree Friends' desire to really inform more urban forest management, and I tried to do my best to provide succinct, easy to access information to help you guys understand what's going on here and take action.
Okay, next one. So the vision for 2030, these are critical, and for the citizens that are here to recognize that we want you all to hold us to this vision. A well-stocked, diverse, and well-maintained urban forest. That's a vision. Tree City USA certification throughout those for 2030 and potential growth awards. By doing this plan, we're one of the smaller towns that will actually have an urban forestry plan. We can apply for a growth award from the Arbor Day Foundation because of this work. We want to maintain, we'd like to grow the city canopy, but given our resources, it's going to be hard for us to grow it. It's going to be tough to even maintain it at 36%. Because we have to remove trees and we're gonna lose trees from storms. So we can, you know, takes a lot of tree planting. We try to save as many trees as we can, but that's our goal, is to maintain the 36% tree canopy. Plus that'll require that by 2030, we're gonna do an urban tree canopy assessment. You know, we did one 5 years ago, we're gonna do one in 5 years. And then engage, here we go, and engage in a 10-year tree canopy assessment. So that's our goal, our vision for 2030. And then, next, the program goals are aligned with our mission, advocacy, conservation, and education. So, goal 1, there's all kinds of things you'll see if you read the plan. You've read the plan, I hope, on planning, budgeting, funding. Key in the budgeting, we don't specify dollars. We talk about potential funding mix using general funds of the city, fundraising, local business support, other things. We need to get creative in how we go about funding our urban forestry work. We're already kind of doing it now, we just don't do it in any kind of a planned way. So doing it in line with working with Tony and Mike and the staff, coming to the city budget and saying, we're gonna have this much of a budget, but this much is coming from the general funds of the city. Then goal 3 is education. We've got a lot of great ideas. I think the things we do best at Tree Friends is helping people understand the benefits of trees and planting trees, but we need a lot of help with the rest of the stuff. Finally, these are the actions that we're looking for you tonight. And one is to just accept the plan. You don't need to approve it, you just need to accept it. You need to say, yes, we've received this, we accept it. And then instruct the city manager to work with staff and volunteers to implement the plan. What's not stated here, but one of the things we want to talk with Tony about is doing an annual report and come to you, the commissioners, with a report on what we've done. It's you plan, then you do the work, and then you analyze what work you've done, and then you redo a plan. And it's never perfect. It's just you do the best you can. We know there are limited funds, but there's a lot to do. And if we all agree that this is important work, then we can get down to the work and do it. Before we go to the questions, and thank you, I said to the kind of rashly Dan was there at the Planning Commission, that I'm gonna be resigning as the Tree Friends Chair by the end of this fiscal year. I've agreed to stay on for another year because of the plan, and to work with Tony and a succession plan so that we can get some momentum coming out of this. So any questions?
He talked you into it.
You did, Dan, it was your charm.
No, he talked you into it.
Who?
Tony.
No, he did not. It was your charm, Dan. You said you need a succession plan. You're a very charming
But I'll
man.
accept it.
You're a very charming man.
Thank you. Nobody believes you, but that's okay.
I see that in you, though. I know you've got it in
It's
you.
there.
I know.
It's there when it really, really, really needs to be.
It need,
And we really all appreciate everything that you've done.
Yes, we
The
do.
one question I do have, we plant, what, 3 or 4 inch trees? Is that about the right
2.5.
size? 2.5? Can we get smaller trees or can we go to seedlings? I mean, I'm just asking
Yeah.
off the wall.
Some thoughts you have?
Can we get
Rich?
seed, like the Conservation Club, what do they sell? And when they're done selling, do they have leftover trees that are 1 or 2 foot trees?
So I've planted or been responsible for planting tens of thousands of trees in a variety of situations at this point. And that works really well in, areas that maybe aren't high use. So there might be areas of a park, there might be areas of a cemetery, that would be a great strategy. Along streets where you have folks mowing properties, or it's around sidewalk like downtown, or there might be weed whips involved, I don't recommend the smaller trees. You need something a little more substantial to indicate this is intentional, that it's here for a purpose, and to leave it there. So in some cases,
So we
yes.
could start a forest, it would just create a headache for DPW going around. We'd have to
Or
put
private
fences
residents,
around.
or residents.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking McCoy Creek Park,
Mhm.
I'm thinking the Common more, I'm thinking a couple empty lots around town that we're not really doing much of anything with, that we could plant trees in. But I don't wanna spend $300 a tree if we can get a bunch of little ones, I'm just throwing it out there as a thought.
Technically speaking, in those situations, that would work, from an objective perspective, that's up for you guys to decide.
Well, it's up to him.
And the trees don't cost $300.
No, I know, but,
And,
so are we charging that much though?
we wanna make a profit, so we charge $300 for a tribute tree.
Right.
And that, we make a profit, doesn't go to any of us at tree.
No,
Friends.
I
It
understand
allows
that.
us to buy more trees.
But the $300 stuck, and I mean,
That's good. But you know how profit works.
well, I work for the city, so no.
Well, I mean, but you have to, there's
Yeah.
value,
That
Your
was something I
pricing,
charged.
pricing is a function of cost, and it's also a function of value received.
Right,
And so anytime anybody walks into a store and tries to equate cost with price, they're starting from the wrong place.
no,
We pay a
no.
lot less,
right,
and we
great.
make money, and we use that money to buy more trees.
I was kinda advertising the,
And I've
You can
thought
buy
a
a
lot,
tree for
I've thought a lot
$300.
about seedlings and saplings for our work, but we're planting mostly on tree lawns. That's our job, is tree
Okay.
lawn planting, and so that wouldn't be a thing we would use for that. We would like to start an orchard,
well, that would be something for Barb,
or we could do it at the school farm.
or we could do it at school farm.
So if we had an orchard that we could then harvest our own trees, but that's a long play.
Right,
So we gotta talk about that. But I know Lane Martin, the secretary of our board, would love to do that. Plus Jared Huttenstein, a tree friend who works he's the coordinator out at the school farm.
and we have a tree farmer just outside of Ingaleen, don't we? Out there on Gardner Road?
Yeah, well, we have Elm Valley Evergreens at the corner of Gardner and Elm Valley, and we also have Sister Hill, which is the Losmack family, out at Warren Woods, Rich, and.
Oh, the Losmax, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we get a lot of our trees, but we're bound by getting 3 bids. We've lately gotten more trees for a better rate from up in Fenville, I think, was it Fenville?
Yes.
And, so, we wanna make the most of the money that we raise and that, we have allocated, but yeah, and strategies like using a cheaper tree would be great, but we have to be very select about it.
What kind of trees specifically are you trying to plant?
Niche-
Have you got like a handful of trees, that type of trees that you
Yeah,
want to plant?
we've got trees that are recommended by the DNR, we have a list of trees, when we looking at the downtown project, we worked with Avon March in terms of tree species, that we wanna have native trees if possible, and trees that are good for this type of environment.
I'm just getting you on the permanent record, you understand that,
I
right?
understand.
On
So, yeah,
purpose.
what's my burn, man, Dan?
No, that's good, cause I
Yeah.
mean, I just want
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to understand what kind of trees we are planting
we
and
plant-
what we
we
are
put-
specifically
We
doing.
did not have native trees planted on Front Street, so now we will. We had Bartlett pear trees, which were very popular in urban forestry like 30 years ago.
Right.
And you knew the quality of those trees by looking
Well,
at
they were
them.
basically a weed, weren't they, technically?
Well, a definition of a weed is an unwanted plant. So by that definition, yes, but they're, they're a woody tree, you know.
What is our
Not
plan?
this town.
Yeah, in this town, weed can be a very wanted plant.
Solid.
The other part of the urban forestry plan.
Any other questions?
I have
Yeah.
one question. Oh,
Go ahead.
can I go first? If
Sure.
somebody, this may be more for Leo, right? Lee, did I get that right?
Yes.
If we wanted to get a certification or something, maybe it's a micro certification for someone on our team for an arborist level quality to kind of help us more on a regular basis. There's some good pathways for that. I'm assuming it's like, not like a 4-year degree or something extensive like you probably have, but.
No, the base certification would be what's called the Certified Arborist through the International Society of Arboriculture. That requires, from what I can remember, roughly 2 years of experience working with trees. And I find that when I work with cities like yours, you may have a crew worker that's been around 10 years and just over the course of their career has added up enough experience with trees and pruning that they could make a claim to sit for the exam. So it's essentially an exam. There's a really good study guide out there. There's all sorts of materials online, to help people study for that exam. So I've worked with cities like yours before, helping people through that process. But you don't need me to help through that.
Sure.
That's something someone could do on their own if they're really interested. With that, I would say too that there is the Michigan International Society of Arboriculture, so it's the local chapter. And generally every February they put on a 2-day conference or a workshop. So at a minimum, it could just be seeing about sending a couple of city employees to that workshop, and they would learn more about techniques. They actually have a tree that was removed, they put it in a big space, and they talk about proper removal techniques, how to do it safely, how to do it effectively. So even without full certification, you could still access some of the education and tools through that organization.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm bringing this up to kind of go on record also. You look through your grants and priorities, and removals, it looks like it's about 1/3 of the total here.
For that one grant, yeah.
For the grant, yeah. And I'm quite sure some of the rest of the folks up on this podium get stuck with this same question, is trees to be removed because they're heaving up their sidewalks, they're growing down into their
Laterals there.
sewage systems and stuff. I know I've got an individual that hits me at least once a week about this. So, I'm like I said, I'm going on record. How do you plan to go around to do tree removal from some of these older, bigger trees that are problematic?
Okay, we had a couple of trees this fall, which one tree dropped a limb and it took out, 1,000 customers, 600 customers. And it's in the alley between front, right off of Moccasin.
Yeah.
And, it's got so many lines going through it that the city won't touch it. And it's, on the inventory, it's a healthy tree. So we had a meeting with AEP, with the arborist from AEP, Brian Gerdes, and he said they're gonna do what they can to save it. Now, it's encroaching on the curb. You could probably use a little attention at the base. It's a 300-year-old tree. It's pre-settlement. My thought is we should try to do what we can to try to save that tree, the benefits that tree's giving. Plus, we got a good partner in AEP. Then there was another tree, which is exactly what you're talking about, and it was on the, Tony, where was it?
Third Oak.
Third Oak, and heaving the sidewalk, busting the gutter. She's got other trees in that property, on her own property, that are hitting her roof. So she's like, going through the laterals, all the stuff that so upset, we would have had to talk her into an easement to try to protect the roots. Redirect the sidewalk, redirect the curb around, but that wasn't gonna happen. And so it was decided to take that tree out, and it's a tragedy, but the residents need to submit a formal request to the city, and then the city needs to assess the situation. we like Tree Friends being involved in that conversation. If you had an arborist on staff to advise, this Brian Gerdes is a really nice guy. He works right over here. You could probably get him to come out and look at it and talk to you about it. But ultimately, it's going to be an economics decision about whether we can actually do something to save a big tree like that, or talk to the citizen about the value that tree brings to them and to their neighbors, and so that they're not as upset about it. I think we have to be paying attention to citizen complaints about trees. And we need to, really understand the impacts on infrastructure that are around it. It's complicated, it's political, you gotta be charming to people and help them to understand. So we'll send Dan out there to.
I don't think Dan would be the one to.
I do have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How much, them are not anchor roots that are erupting your sidewalks, are they, or are they?
I don't know.
They're usually what are called exploratory roots. So tree root is going to seek water and air.
Okay.
And when you have between soil and
How
sidewalk.
much of that can you shave off?
Well, depends. I mean, it's going to depend on species, it's going to depend on size, it's going to depend on how much of the root system is impacted. I do not like removing what are called buttress roots. So these are the ones that actually flare out at the base. If you shave down all the buttress roots on the side of the tree, you've created a situation where that tree.
No, I understand that.
But the
I'm talking
exploratory
about
root-
taking the top of the root off, so that you could put in, maybe a 2-inch sidewalk right there at the tree. Just looking at options.
Yeah.
Just trying to make more options out there.
And,
So, I mean, I've had several people say that there's only so much you can do to that tree, and the sewer systems are tile.
Right.
That's why we have the problems we have with the sewers. You can't plant a tree 15 feet away from a house and expect it not to go in your sewer system. It's just not gonna happen. It's gonna seek out sewer. And there's things that we need to do as homeowners, but it's very expensive. And they're not trimmed. And we need to decide who needs to trim. The property owners have not been educated on the fact that they need to trim their trees. So,
So on the sidewalk issue, it unfortunately depends. There's no set rule on it. This is where having someone that has some training education can be really helpful to the city and making some of those decisions. Some cities lean on having an arborist kind of off to the side that they only bring in certain situations where they want that advice. That's an option too, where you have that available for when, city staff feel like they need just a little bit of extra help, or even just having another name attached to something if they're giving a homeowner information, bad news, what have you, right? So there's some different tools available to you, but on the sidewalk piece, it definitely depends.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you need to take any we say the action is to accept the plan. You don't need to probably vote on that. That's your business.
Yeah.
But,
Did you have it on?
Great. And thank you guys, all of you, really. And Raquel, thank you. I mean, it's nice to meet you. And we look forward to working with you all aggressively in the coming years.
Thank you very much, Brian. Okay, at this time, if there's no other questions or comments, I will take a motion on the urban forestry plan.
This is money. I'd move to accept the urban forestry plan as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
yes.
and Money.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item B, Buchanan Police Department, Shop with a Cop update.
Just to give you an update, we had a successful Shop with a Cop program this past Saturday at Walmart in Niles. We were able to, based on the money that was raised by donations, take out 18 kids. And the stories for these kids all were in need. We were able to raise $200 per kid, and Walmart gave us $25 each. And so we thank all of our donors throughout the community, our business owners, our private donors, as well as I thank Raquel for going out with us, Tony and Marcy also helping us out, as well as our fire departments being there to support us to take those kids around and have a little bit of cheer for them this year and things. So do you have any questions?
How many kids did you have?
We had 18. And we do take donations all year long, so that way we can hopefully next year maybe have the same number of kids kids, depending on the need, 18 or 20. But it also depends on the donations that we receive from businesses and private donors.
Do you send out
Yes, I have
donation
the,
requests?
yes, I do send it out through the chamber, and the chamber forwards it out to the businesses. And we do post it on
Yeah,
our city site.
I know there's some organizations that need basically a formal request to be
Right.
able to, or somebody within that organization needs to be reminded, because they can donate.
We'll remind you, Larry.
I guess you know which one I'm talking about.
All right, but thank you very much. We really
Thank you,
appreciate
Chief.
it.
Thanks, Chief. Okay. We do not have any unfinished business at this time. Moving on to new business. Adult use marijuana retailer permit. Consider the approval of the adult use marijuana retail permit for Mint 7 LLC, doing business as Mint Cannabis at 221 East First Street.
Yes, Mayor, I've been told to stretch for a minute while Cal brings in the applicant via
Okay.
video because they're not in town. As you know, Pinnacle dispensary shut down this year with a gauge closure across the state of Michigan. Mint Cannabis has bought their business and their license from them, and this is going to be to transfer that license over to them, for them to continue operations in that facility moving forward. And are you ready?
Yeah. But can you hear me? We can't hear you. Hold on one second. One of these days, we're gonna get our technology figured out.
While she's working on it, Tony, do they have other dispensaries in the state?
Yes, they do. There's one, the closest one to us, they have one over in New Buffalo. If you know where the cemetery is, New Buffalo, along
Okay.
the Marquette Greenway Trail, they have one right there
Okay.
in the township. So, knowing that over there is one of my former clients, they had a nice operation over there. I can't attest to that when I was working over that way.
Screen doesn't wanna work. Ruh-roh.
Can you call him?
I had it working earlier.
She did it work earlier.
We tested everything and it never works.
It's not gonna happen.
He's on my camera. Let's try. You can hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Barely, but I'm
They
gonna
can
move it
hear us.
over to a little bit to them, okay?
Not a problem.
Just in case they have any questions, we did process the permit, everything looks good on our end, we're just waiting for the background checks to come back, so let me.
Thank you.
Alright, just in case, so that you guys can hear, sorry.
It's all right. You can stand there and interpret for us.
Alright, do you guys have any questions further?
I just wanna know when you're gonna open.
So as soon as we obtain this permit, we are going to move forward with the state approvals. Our goal is to, get those inspections done as soon as possible. Once we get that, we can bring in, our own fixtures, our own branding, signage. We are hoping to be open by February 1st, if all goes well.
So you have to wait for state approval yet, okay. Just trying to catch up.
Yes.
How many other dispensaries do you have in the state, or do you have any others other than the state of Michigan?
Yes, so we currently have 6 in the state of Michigan,
Okay,
soon to be 8, hopefully with Buchanan being one of them. And we do operate in a few other states as well. So we started in Arizona, and now we're in Illinois, Missouri, Nevada, and soon to be a couple others. So.
I do have one other question for you, and you can say no comment on this, but I do want you to reach out to me if the answer is yes to this question. Are you fighting this idiot 24% tax on marijuana? You can say no comment if you want to.
I'm sorry. Am I finding what about the 24%?
Are you fighting in Lansing the 24% marijuana tax by the state? There's a lawsuit against it.
Yes, no, I'm not a part of that.
Okay,
I'm not part of that lawsuit, no.
all right. Well, I was hoping I could find another Well, definitely, you know, I mean, you just can't make up stupid like that. You can't.
Yeah, and honestly, they gave us some small hope, and it was all shot down today. So,
It was.
you know, it is what it is. We're just going to have to, pivot just like we have over the last few years, and create a structure that works.
Well, there's a few of us out there fighting pretty hard for you where we can.
I really appreciate that.
I don't have any other questions.
I'm sorry if there was a question. I couldn't
Nope,
hear that.
you're good. Give us 1 second. So the recommendation is to approve with pending the backgrounds checks. Otherwise, everything else looks good on our end.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, great.
If
I
there's,
greatly appreciate it. I look forward to
Still going.
okay, if there's no other comment, anything else you wanna discuss, Dan? Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, I will take a motion on the license permit approval.
I'll move to approve the adult use marijuana permit for Mint 7 contingent upon completion of background checks.
Thank you, do we have support?
This money I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
George,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
and Swam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item B under new business, self-contained breathing apparatus bid. Consider the approval of self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA's, the bid award. And
I'll kick it off and Mike can answer any questions you might have
Absolutely.
on the technical line. So what you have before you here is the award of a bid to buy 5 SCBA units for the fire department. We actually need 15, but buying 15 is about $150,000. We need to work that into our budget. This year, we went out for the first 5 of those. You'll be seeing another 5 in your budget next year. However, we will go for the other 10 we need via grant next year as well. As we decide to get our equipment back up to gear with this, this will go through our formal bidding process, and all the costs are already anticipated in our budget, and the funding is available.
Yeah, I don't know if you may or may not know, Mayor, Commissioners, that, our SCBA units were originally from 2003. We got 12 with the federal grant back then. And then when I took over in 11, in 2013, we bought 6 more. They gave us 18 packs. But the life expectancy of most SCBA packs is about 12 to 15 years. And we're on year 22, 23 on the ones from 2003. Where we're at right now, we have 5 and a 6th one possibly out of service already. It's hard to get the parts for them. They don't make a lot of the parts. They're just too old. So we're at the point where we have to start buying them. We've applied for federal grants 4 out of the last 5 years. The first couple of years we were in with the group, with the Buchanan and some of the other departments. Matt Remmel wrote the first couple applications. We didn't get awarded. Excuse me. Then in 2003, we broke off, and I wrote it, 2023. I wrote the grant. We didn't get awarded. We missed a year in 24. Came back for this year. We actually had a vendor write it, and we still didn't get awarded. We didn't have to pay anything because we didn't get awarded, but we're at the point where we have to start buying packs. And obviously, like Tony said, we prefer to get them all in one shot, but if we can't do that, we can't do that. So that's where we're at.
How much money has the fire department raised for itself since 2011?
How much money we raised for what?
Yourself, as a fire department? How much fundraising have you done for yourself?
We haven't done any since 2011. We did some fundraising back when I first took over. We haven't done any fundraising probably in the last 5 or 6 years.
Been a little longer than that, hasn't it?
We've covered this before, Dan.
Yeah.
The fundraising that we make doesn't go into the general fund. It goes to something that we're targeting to get. And when we typically, the last 5 or 6 times we did a fundraiser, we made $200. That's after expenses.
The thing about it is there's fire departments that have continuous fundraisers, and you're not gonna get anything from selling chili or hot dogs. It's the guys that give you the big checks, and they're gonna give you the big checks if you got your face out there. And I know you personally don't wanna do it, but you are the chief. So you could designate the guys to do it, and you would get the big checks. I mean, this township of Buchanan got $100,000 from Mr. Shermer, didn't they?
Dan?
How much money has Bakertown got?
Dan, next year will be 35 years for me, and I've never once seen a big check. Never.
Well, I know we've been working to get this approved for a few years now. I thought we had it in the motion before. I know you guys been working hard on those grants, so I'm happy to see we're actually spending money because this is life-saving equipment that your team needs. And it's important that you have, so. I'm sure Larry will wanna make this.
Oh, I'll
motion.
make that, you know, I'm gonna make that motion, but to answer some of Dan's questions, we've never, and I date back, I left there in 1998. And yes, we used to do fundraisers, but, it was a totally different department concept. And just like Mike said, you never made a lot of money. We weren't gonna, if we made enough to go out and buy a sling pack, you know, which in my days, there were 3 SCBAs on our department, with a total of 18 guys. One of them was a sling pack that the chief always used, and then there was 2 other packs that if you were lucky enough to get one, you got it. If not, you get just lung congestion like I probably got from it, you know. But, yeah, this is one of those things that, the fundraising efforts, I don't know what Buchanan Township does. I know they have a big fish fry. We can't accommodate that here. Not with the department that we have now, where all the guys works different shifts and everything else. And you know that I defend this police and fire department to no end. So, with that being said, I'm gonna move to approve the bid award to McQueen Equipment in the amount of $59,460 as presented. And then hopefully we can come back and get those other packs ordered up for the following years.
Thank you, Larry. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
and George.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jake.
you, gentlemen.
Moving on to item C, ground lease agreement, considering accepting the ground lease agreement for in North-South Dewey Street.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm coughing about getting off that bug. Well, I think I
You probably got it.
I am late.
You're welcome.
At this point, by the way.
You're welcome.
Did you have one?
Yeah, I got one.
So, what you have before you, this is something we've been talking about since construction started downtown. As we were looking at the part of Dewey Street that's now a sidewalk area, we started looking at the area behind Layman's as well, realizing that while it's a public road, it really has more of a private benefit, although during construction, Randy probably saw that as a detour around more than anything going through there in the parking lot. So we've been working towards this for the last few months to, as a transition, eventually we wanna sell that property, the building 324 over there, because it really has more of a purpose and it makes more sense to be associated with that building. While we work through that process though, just to begin it, it's easier to do a lease at this point in time for 3 years. We anticipate being able to sell within a year. The reason we have to go through this is it's a little more drawn out process because in the state of Michigan, any public right of way within 25 meters of a body of water, i.e. McCoy Creek, has to go through a different process. So it's gonna be a little elongated process, but this really is, the memo says in your packet, it's a win-win situation for both Building 324 and the city. We both get benefits for it, and it's just a mutually good agreement. It sets us up for some better spending long-term that we get for our money. I'll answer any questions you have, and Randy's here as well for Building 324, if you have any questions from him.
Thank you.
They're gonna maintain everything. What about snow maintenance, the sidewalk, that road, yeah, I mean, the road that was the road?
Will be part of their parking area, so that'll be theirs to maintain under this.
Okay, so that's all gonna, then, as far as through traffic, since, I'll just ask you directly, are you just gonna put speed bumps through? Because, I mean, you're gonna have through traffic, I mean, you just can't stop it.
So with the east and west Dewey being closed, there's not, you guys want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. With the, good question, Dan. With the east and west Dewey being closed, there's not as much through traffic there anymore. We are putting a traffic control arm, like a toll road operator, right across or next to the electric shack, which is in between the building itself,
Okay,
the fire lane, and the electric shack.
Okay.
So that will prevent any through traffic from coming through. So any traffic coming in from the north and the south AKA the back of Layman's there, would be coming in and have to turn, right? There's no way to,
Okay.
for through traffic anymore.
So and then you're just gonna leave front open and they won't be able to get through anyhow,
Correct, again, that traffic arm.
cause
will
that
prevent
gate's gonna
them.
be there.
And you just have
Okay,
an
good
automatic
answer.
gate of some sort.
Good solution.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the solution is.
Yeah, so I mean, and what are you gonna have? You're just gonna have credit card type cards to get in, or are you gonna have?
It'll be a
push button?
mobile app
Okay.
system. We already own it, we're just kind of waiting for the sort of clear to put it up. Obviously, we went right from road, construction to snow. So-
Right, right.
Yeah. But as far as the snow removal goes, we've already been doing it. I've been doing snow removal on that property for a couple of years already. Been maintaining it and keeping up on it. We've been maintaining it, cause it's a fairly blight, area from the way Clark left it. There was a bunch of different foundations and buildings kind of coming
Right,
all into that
right,
area, so
right.
there's elevation changes and
Right.
it's kind of a mess. So it's like Tony says, it's a win-win. It's gonna take a lot of cost in order for us to get it back up to snuff and to use it for, parking, but it's worth it, so.
Well, the reason why I asked too is because, Roby is up at the gym, the 24-hour gym.
Sure.
And the construction did a lot of that too, so.
Right.
I don't know if that would be an answer for them or not, but
Good point.
it should slow down substantially now that Front Street's open.
Right.
Have you noticed it slow down?
Yes, yeah. I
Other
mean,
than the
we-
clowns that were driving on the sidewalks?
Right, yes. It's been better. We had the other challenge of people trying to come down, the old Dewey, the sidewalks, but
right.
for our property, it's been fine.
And I mean, once I go past it, there is a driveway type ramp there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
we'll give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
yep. Been much better. It's harder on the weekends. We have cannabis traffic in town and they're not familiar with the area. So
Right.
they'll come in and poke through and go back out and they'll realize that they have to do a U-turn anyway. So that's about the only time. Weekday traffic is slim to none now.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This time I'll take a motion on the ground lease agreement.
I'll move to approve proposed 3-year lease of specified portion of the Dewey Street public right-of-way to Building 324 and an annual lease rate of $1. Additionally, I authorize the city manager to sign and execute the lease and to negotiate the final location of the 10-foot trail easement during the lease execution.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have support?
Money, I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and Whedon.
Yes. Moving on to item D, December 22nd City Commission meeting. Consider the canceling the City Commission meeting scheduled for December 22nd and granting City Manager McGee administrative approval for expenditures.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Money, that caught up. Pun was not intended, I like it. What you have before you is canceling your second meeting this month. Traditionally, that is something you have historically done as a commission. What we are do is you administratively give me approval to handle expenditure approvals between now and your next meeting. I will send you an email with what we're gonna be approving in case there's any questions before I approve them. So that's what this will be doing.
Thank you.
This is money I'd approve the cancellation of the December 22nd, 2025 regular meeting.
I'll support.
Well, you need to, there's a second half on the
And
page.
give Manager McGee administrative approval of expenditures.
I'll still support.
Thank you. Okay, roll call,
Kelly
please.
tried to follow us up.
Yes, she almost got you.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, she was
almost got
ready.
me.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
and Bianski.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to item E, expenditures. Consider an approval of expenditures for December 8th, 2025 in the amount of $115,223.40.
This is getting easier and easier.
I love it.
It is, it really is, because we have a 2-week we have a conversation before the meeting every time. Most of the stuff that we have to spend, we both agree that we wish we didn't have to, but we have to. So I move to approve the expenditures in the amount of $115,223.40.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have support?
Support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
and Money.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. We do not have any communications at this time. We will now have public comment on non-agenda items only. Please approach the podium, state your name for the record, and keep your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Commissioners, excuse me, Mayor. here to give an update on Stark. 92 days later, she's done. So our grand opening is January 2nd at 3 o'clock, and classes start January 5th at 9 o'clock.
Wonderful.
So I'm excited to show everyone the.
What classes are you gonna be doing?
You had to ask me.
Well, just give me an abridged.
Nursing, pharmacy technician, medical terminology.
Oh, wow.
QMA. We added more allied health courses, CNA,
Yes.
phlebotomy.
Lobotomy?
Got a candidate.
You wanna come be the devil?
Did he just say he wants to be the dummy?
But I do wanna say, it's no longer Stark School.
It's not, and I
It
wanted to
is
say
no
that,
longer
but
Stark
Thank
School.
you.
I didn't
you,
wanna
Dan.
hurt the community's feelings.
No.
Well, I know, but I will. You
He's
know, I
perfect
have
at
that
that.
capability. It
But-
is no longer Stark.
I renamed her, she's Star now, for
Star.
like a guiding light,
Aw.
but I did still keep some of the aesthetics of Stark, but, she's ALR now, but she's
We're
still.
moving forward.
Yeah, we are.
I'm really excited for you and the community, cause that's gonna be really good for the community.
I appreciate it.
I had the great luxury of spending time with you and your staff this past week, and I will say that the town is absolutely blessed to have what you're bringing to the city and the staff that you're bringing with you. And now Niles and Buchanan get to share something great and have a medical community that is going to build even stronger over the years, right? You have grand plans. I know this is just the beginning, so
I appreciate it.
thank you so much. You're an absolute dream, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
I do wanna ask
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
one question,
Yes.
because it's been, I spend 3 hours down here every week, and so I talk to a different nurse every week. It's no longer considered a profession.
Oh, I've gotten a lot of calls about that. A lot of
That
calls.
was not done to be detrimental though, was it? It was done to kind of speed the system up and stop the financial block, on both sides.
Absolutely.
We don't have the trainers, so we can't have the nurses, and we don't have the trainers because of the regulations. I mean, is that what it was?
So here's the untold truth about that. So when nursing started as a profession back 100 years ago, back in like the 60s, nursing only offered certificate type programs. They didn't have ASN, BSN, the higher level doctorate. But now, throughout the years, we added that because of the nursing shortages, nurse practitioners. But the U.S. Department of Ed didn't recognize that at that time. They don't say, they still recognize nursing as a profession, obviously, but not the higher degree courses. So now they're trying to, either they're not trying to recognize it or they're trying to grandfather it in. But because of the nursing shortage, I have no doubt that eventually they're gonna, well, when Trump leaves, everything will be okay. So I'm not worried about it.
You definitely got a divided room on that one.
But I wanted you to clarify that, and I think I read substantially a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they're throwing out some of the garbage
Yeah.
so that they can clean it all out and start anew.
Yeah, well, they're revamping the whole Department of Ed anyway, so
Well,
yeah.
that's not a bad thing either.
Yeah, it's not. So yeah, I'm not worried about it because if nurses went on strike for one day,
Right, I know.
that would cripple healthcare, seriously. Yeah, there's so many nursing organizations out there that's gonna stop that. So, yeah.
Welcome to Buchanan.
Yeah,
I know,
welcome.
right?
I hope everybody's been really friendly, I really do.
Oh, they have.
Because I'm really super excited personally about it,
I appreciate it.
because
Thank
it's
you.
very near and dear to my heart.
Thank you. I kinda wanted to give you guys a private tour before everybody comes and tramples the floor.
I want to attend your lobotomy class.
He got the floor really nice, so I don't, yeah. But yeah. So anyhow, what'd you say, Dan? I'm sorry.
I want to attend your lobotomy class.
Really? You said lobotomy? Lobotomy?
Lobotomy.
Or phlebotomy, yeah.
There's a lot
you
of
can.
people don't think there's anything out there to do.
Yeah, but I have charm.
He was told that earlier, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow, that was a stretch too.
Don't let that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Redding.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna do the same thing really quick, but not with as much of an ending date. 92 days for our construction process has really just kind of started. So just wanted to let you guys know that our general contractor, Armstrong, A-Strong Construction, was in to pull our permit to get started. You guys have probably already seen we've started on some non-permit work. We are looking for building 324 completion of the loading dock towards the end of March. So occupancy sometime around there. Our sales projection are gonna basically drive about 60,000 people into the venue and through the venue across the 12-month period. Those events will range from live events to private events to open to the public events. And those will hopefully start as soon as April. So I just wanna let you guys know, also just so you guys can put a price tag on that, it's a $1.5 million phase 1 project. So we've already kind of gotten well underway on that. So
Have
just
you
wanted to
figured
get
out your parking?
well, what we did tonight was part of that. So
Okay.
by code, our occupancy is gonna be 475. We only need one parking spot for every one for every 4 people. So we just basically, we're at that number now, especially with some of the additional parking that the Redbud Trail public parking added. So we're where we need to be. It's a little tricky, but phase 2 adds another 75 parking spots on the east side of the property. That won't start probably till next fall. So just wanted to give you guys like an official start update, because we haven't done that yet. I know a lot of you guys know what's going on, but thought it'd be nice to go on record.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Randy.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot to add, we work in conjunction with Buchanan Community Schools to get those kits for Shop with a Cop. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Thank you very much, Jason. Okay. See no more public, approach the podium. We'll start down on this end. Ms. George? Oh, sorry, no? See, sorry, just get right up there.
That's fine, you're good. Just a few things, Dr. Reddy, if you need anything for your grand opening, let us know, whether it's the chamber to get connected with, giant scissors, ribbon, give me a holler, we'll get you anything you need to help make that media release and all that.
Thank you.
Happy to help you with that. Just an FYI, we got some more wallwood last week, the state rep dropped by this, signed by our rep, our senator, the governor, the lieutenant governor for our downtown projects, congratulations. This Saturday, believe it or not, marks 11 months I've been here with you guys, so it's been fun 11 months. This is our last meeting before the holidays. Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. To the staff, to the commission, to all the people in the community, it's been a great 11 months. Just thank you for that. Now that our downtown project's done, we're going to see our focus shifting more to the second half of this fiscal year, quality of life in our neighborhood. So more emphasis on the sidewalks, the code enforcement, parks and recreation, that sort of thing. Our new planning and community development director, Kristen Gunderson, will be starting next week with us, so you'll see her at your first meeting at the beginning of the year. And in front of you, we'll be sending out tomorrow, is the RFP for the 12 lots you just approved the sale of. I'll send you guys it electronically in case you know anybody that is interested as well, but we will send it to the Builders Exchange, we'll send it to the local builders organizations and developers we know, and put it on our web. So we're giving about 6 weeks to get us proposals back, and we'll be hopefully having a sales agreement before your February meeting. That's all I have.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Tom. Thank you. Yes, sir. Ms. George?
Yes, just real quick, Tony, the stoplights at Oakenfront, I've heard a couple of people ask, can you clarify that for the public,
Are we
please?
getting them or when?
Yeah, that we are getting them.
We are getting them, yes. We didn't just put up those giant silver poles for fun. There's a little AEP issue with the service we're working through yet, but I think they're gonna be on site tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we'll look at that, so those should be up here pretty soon.
Awesome, thank you for clarifying that. Just wanna say, Buchanan for the holidays was rescheduled to this Friday at 6 o'clock. We had a little bit of scheduling conflicts, with like the Buchanan District Library fundraiser being Saturday, and then it just being too close, and December's busy anyway, but we, the chamber wanted to put it back on, and I'm super excited that they did. Again, the commission will be there dressed in our Grinch gear and super excited about that. Super excited to have the event downtown, especially with all the road construction that has happened, just moving forward. And then I just wanted to say Shop with a Cop. I had the privilege of being involved with that this year. Thank you, Chief, for that opportunity. But I just think it's such a blessing to be a part of a community that gives back in every way that we can. To see those kids, you know, rough times come to everybody, but to see those kids to be able to go in a store and still they have joy and, you know, they love, it's just such a blessing on both receiving and giving ends, you know, being able to shop with them. And I just want to say that I really appreciate our department for putting that on, and I think it's super special, and the fact that the great Tony McGee was there is just, I love our community. It's the best. So just wanted to say that, and then a big congratulations to ARL, and I'm looking forward to that. And to end this, I just hope everybody has a great holiday season and have a safe holiday season. And I cannot wait. I know this commission cannot wait for this next coming year, 2026. I think it'll be full of great opportunities, great moving forward. And I'm super excited to work with the commission, with Tony, the city, the staff, and the residents. So thank you. See you next year.
Thank you. Mr. Swin?
Big thank you to the Tree Friends team. Your preparation and effort doesn't go unnoticed. You guys put a ton of work in throughout the year, and as a commissioner, we do appreciate when you come and speak to us at least, you know, once a year. We don't get that from every board, and it's important to keep us in the loop, as many other ones we work with. But we see the work you're doing on a regular basis, and sometimes I'm even out there, or others are out there helping you every now and again. But thank you. It's really important work you do, and we appreciate you. Caught Mike and the team today out digging holes.
That's what we do.
Replacing lead lines, so that work continues to be ongoing. Conveniently, it was right across the street from my house, so the work that has not stopped there. Thank you to the police and fire department teams. Shop with the Cop is it's a badge of honor this community gets to wear every year, and you represent us well, so thank you. Congrats to ALR. Please let us know. I'm sure Tony can coordinate that private tour for us. So, you guys, I missed the last meeting due to illness, so I don't know if you guys really discussed this or not, but you received in your packets the water sewer analysis for potential expansion to serve Bertrand. Tony's going to speak to their board to review that from an engineering standpoint with them. Nothing to report, nothing immediate there, just a tri-community effort between us, Buchanan Township, and Bertrand Township to seek solutions to fill their needs as well as help better utilize our infrastructure assets, especially with the improvements we've made in town to create additional capacity in our sewer plant. So that should be good for all people involved. Buchanan's not paying for anything outside the city of Buchanan, so if anybody talks to you, it's all staying in Buchanan. And those communities will pay for any additional investment they see fit for their communities. But it's been 4.5 years of trying to build relationships across these community lines to show that there's value in working together outside of just an isolated path, and this is a big step forward in that effort. And then lastly, related to water sewer initiatives, landfill approved an investment to continue to improve the discharge we send to the treatment plant, which everybody should be happy to hear about that, because we are direct discharge to the St. Joe River, so anything the landfill does to improve the quality of the discharge they put out to us is a good thing for our neighbors, our community, and the environment. So with that, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Munn?
Okay, Harvey, once again, great job on Shop the Cop. I mean, can't say enough about that program. We've been involved in it for a good number of years. Thanks to the Tree Friends for the questions and answers. I think we got a lot of stuff done. on and doing the good things for the city. Dr. Redding, welcome to Buchanan. We truly appreciate it. Randy, great job on building 324. It's going to be a great asset to the Buchanan community. Like Raquel said earlier, we got our program coming up December 12th. So yeah, hope everybody falls out for that because there was a lot of miscommunication when it had to be canceled before, but you know, we don't have much to do with Mother Nature, so it was a good thing all the way around. I want to thank Mike and his crew. Probably went unnoticed because everybody was sitting in their house on Thanksgiving Day eating turkey and watching football games. But the DPW guys were out working. So cleaning the streets, making sure the sidewalks were cleared, doing the work that they do. I'm still a little miffed that they haven't got my leaves picked up yet, but that'll come. Like I said, it's good to know that, you know, they're able to get out and take care of the citizens and at their own expense. It's kind of a thankless job sometimes because I know some of the static they catch. If you read Facebook, you know, it just is what it is. I just also want to bring up that this Saturday, December 13th at 10 o'clock at Oak Ridge Cemetery, we will be doing our Wreaths Across America program, which is a program to honor veterans in our cemetery. Our Veterans Circle was recognized as a Wreaths Across America project a couple years ago. So through the help of the DPW, they're gonna help us offload 200 wreaths to be placed at our Veterans Cemetery. So that program is gonna kick off at about 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. So any and all are welcome. There'll be a short program and then the wreath presentation to the circle itself. So with that being said, hope everybody has a great holidays, Happy New Year. See you next year.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bianski?
My wife was here tonight to hear the compliment that I get. I'm always telling her how charming I am, and she doesn't believe me. So to get a compliment publicly like that, it was great. I am really happy to have a nursing school in town. I mean, Stark School building, racking my brains what to do with it, you know, and it's ideal. It really is. And with you doing what you're doing so much, you know, I was scared of it being just home health and CNA, but with it actually being a nursing program building, that is so fantastic. That is gonna get some serious recognition to the city, you know, and I can't say enough about it. I don't know, I don't usually get too excited about things, but that really excites me. Won't see any of you till next year. I went and spent $100 on freaking Grinch stuff.
'Cause he
but I'm
wanted
too
to.
sick. I'm
He
too
wanted
sick. Not really sick now anymore, but I was when it was supposed to be on, I was deathly sick and I bailed. So you won't get to see me in my natural attire.
So this is just a different costume, is what you're saying?
This is a costume here.
Yeah, it's a.
The Grinch, the true Dan, you would've got to see.
Before you sign off,
Uh-huh.
please remind the public to call 695-5120 if they have an emergency and no one's around on a weekend or after hours, they can't get a hold of us. Don't just leave a message and think someone's gonna call you back. Patrick's neighbor had a water leak, super nice guy. He didn't know what to do, he couldn't get a hold of anybody, he didn't wanna call 911, in which he can to get a hold of dispatch. But the non-emergency call after hours and on the weekends is our police department phone number rings you to Berrien County Dispatch. Berrien County Dispatch knows my number very, very well. They like to call me all the time.
That tough problem we got.
all the time.
What was that phone number again?
695-5120 is the police department phone number.
We need to put it out there.
Yes. Yes.
We need to, I forgot to, we need to forgive Patrick for missing the meeting.
I know, I totally forgot.
I just thought you were making me pay for it.
No.
Right.
You're not.
Alright.
I'll put it on the January meeting.
That's
I
all.
think I'm under my
Thank you.
3 still.
Yeah.
I think so.
You don't get to boot me yet.
Okay, of course, I'll mirror the very similar things that everybody else has said, but I think the one part that we did miss is that I would like to thank the DDA members that were on the plethora of email chain that was in conjunction with the chamber, with Fran. She sits on both boards. It really warmed my heart to know that we have the right people on the DDA board. It is the amount of passion and love for this city that the tree friends share for trees, these people share for the business community and what they're going to do for this city and the DDA positions they hold. The new members that are now going to be joining the DDA, Haley, Libby, Tracy, and Michelle. I knew I was going to forget one. Welcome. I'm extremely excited to see what that group does with the money that they have available for this city, and with the project completed in next year, spring is going to be a good time. So thank you for getting that parade, getting all the communication. Tony, thank you for trying to wrangle the cats together and get them all running in the same direction. So I know that was a tall order very quickly. So appreciate that.
When you see the community come together like that, how do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, and that was all passion. Like, you guys can't imagine how many emails were just about a parade. So it was fantastic. Yeah. But necessary, and I know the community's gonna be excited, and I know that there's a certain website that people will still have issues with something, so it is what it is. Think of the positive stuff, right? Chief, thank you so much. Fire department, thank you guys so much for what you do for the children, for that shop with the cop. It's always great to see the smiling faces and see you guys in the different alleys, or the aisles, trying to find different things for these kids, and I know they appreciate the world of that. Tree Friends, thank you for the plan. It was substantially more than I think anybody would ever imagine that you would see for trees, but you guys have such a passion for it. I'm sure it's very simple to put that together every year, and not in a simple and a complex way, but simple that is your love and passion for it makes it simple. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dr. Redding, I love nothing better than to see Dan excited about something instead of the opposite. So for him to be excited about you to come to town, he mirrors the rest of our excitement, and you make us very proud to be in Buchanan, among many other reasons. But nursing is an art, and we need it dearly in this world today. And so the more nurses we can put out on the street, and coming from a group of passionate people like you have, I have no doubt what you're going to produce. So thank you. Other than that, I think I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, safe New Year's, and travels out there on the road. Please keep your family safe and yourselves. Drive slowly this time of year. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Also move to adjourn.
Thank you. Do you have a second? I'll support. Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I don't think anybody's opposed.
Yes.